Hey guys, I want to record a foundational meeting of why we're going to do the weekly, whether you want to call them prayer, meditation, creative visualization, etc. Is um, one, it works, and two, why not? Why not? If we've been given the creative uh, ability of God, the ultimate power, which is the love of God, why wouldn't we do that to have the courage to love ourselves and at the same time raise the consciousness of humanity? And so on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll be doing it with the link zoom.vidme.io. And that'll go to every Saturday we'll be doing this. And here's why, guys, is I've shown a lot of people this before, but I'm gonna give you a couple of references. Is one person generating love can affect countless people. A group of us generating love can affect humanity, consciousness of humanity itself, which is pretty cool. And using terms like that because the world's okay with terms like that. And let me just explain this to you. In David Hawkins' map of consciousness, he says this, and I'll just show you this scale real quick. This is pretty interesting. And if you've been on our um, Sunday online fellowships, you can find the link to that at freedomministries.org, as well as these messages. But he's talking about this map of consciousness where he said, religion uh, operates typically with fear, grief, guilt, shame, etc. Really not a lot of power to change things. In fact, it contracts. And since we're a part of the whole, our life contracts when we operate there. But when we operate in love and peace and all those things that will actually walk people through, you're changing within. And so not only is it changing you, it changes millions and ultimately billions of people around us as well. This is kind of interesting. It says the consciousness calibration research reveals that approximately 92% of society's problems arise from the average person calibrates below 200. So they're down in these lower emotions of pride, anger, desire, fear, all the way down to shame. Excuse me. And so it says, um, when we operate there, we pay an astronomical price, not only in the quality of life, but also in every area of it, down to just simple everyday physical safety. And it says, because people that operate above it do not typically grasp the fact that they're the minority. They just think everybody's like this. It bears repeating that only 15% of the world's population are above that critical consciousness of 200. And so, however, the collective power of that 15%, us guys, has the weight to counterbalance the negativity of the remaining 85% of the world's population because the scale of power advances logarithmically. At the consciousness level of 1,000, basically it's the highest. In fact, totally counterbalances the collective negativity of all humankind. And then it just talks about this. It says, one individual at 600, which is we're generating peace within yourself, counterbalances 10 million people, all the way down to 12 individuals at level 700 equal 1,000. It's pretty fascinating. So he says this, the difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to beyond the capacity of the human imagination to even comprehend. We can see from the analysis above that even a few loving thoughts during the course of the day, and the example I gave in the message I just recorded before, it says, if you even just saw a stray cat, just go, oh God, oh Lord, take care of that cat. Oh, bless this cat, give it something to eat today. Or you see somebody and that simple act of compassion and love says counterbalances all the lack of faith you had all day, all the fears you had all day, all the worries about your money, all the worries about your business. That simple act of love has so much power in it, guys, is it counterbalances all the negative. Well, here's what's really cool. A handful of us, when we do it for ourselves, so we not only are we a part of the whole, so when we change within and start to feel how amazing would it be if life was exactly how I wanted it? How amazing would I feel if I knew that all my prayers were already answered? How would it feel when I know that I'm completely loved and supported by God? The same, as I was sharing earlier, the same God that created 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone, and then you multiply it by the other galaxies, is a septillion zeros, the power of septillion. There's so many zeros in it, guys. It's unbelievable. He says, us just experiencing love, us experiencing joy, us experiencing peace for even a short time, Saturdays, for a short period of time, will not only radically change our life, where we have access to the infinite power to bring us our deepest desires in minutes a day. That's why I say minutes a day, because they've proven with the kinesiology, a short loving experience in the day counterbalances all the negative, meaning you don't have to be perfect. We just have to tap into that infinite love that we are. And if that's too much for you, what if you had access to it through prayer? So, meaning if you are or were the same God that created 400 billion stars in our own galaxy, it's the same God that keeps you alive, breathing. It's the same love and support that when you cut your finger, it knows how to heal it. It even knows how to um, create your fingerprint. The same God that every second we're so loved and supported, it discards 25 million cells that aren't good for you anymore, and it creates all by itself the love and support of the creative ability of God. 25 million new cells, 1,000. You're so loved and supported that it just created 25 million new cells. So the creative ability of God has so much power in it. It's got the same power to take care of the problems in your life if we love, as it does to create a life of abundance, create a life of peace, create a life of beautiful relationships. As it's simple as a blade of grass to God, it's a decimal point. It's no different. It's the love and support we have access to is so powerful. So anyway, it's pretty cool. So I would just share this with you is if you want to prepare for Saturdays, just get a pen out. You know, Joe Dispenza would say, if you want your life to change, you have to change your energy. How do we do that? Basically, reprogram ourselves. And it's not that difficult. I'll record uh, I'll record the as I walk everybody through it tomorrow, and we'll put it on here as well. But anyway, it's pretty cool. So he would say, um, "What would you like life to look like?" He calls it a clear intention. You could call it a goal. You could have, if I could have anything in the world, if I really knew that what I desire in the world is a decimal point, it's a rounding error to God. It's not a big deal. It's the same energy of God to create a blade of grass as it is to give me a fantastic, loving relationship. Same energy in a blade of grass uh, to create a life of abundance for me. It's the same energy and difficulty, meaning no difficulty, to create a blade of grass is to have divine health. Every cell in your body is vibrating with divine health, guys. And people are worried about what about this and put this in my body. They forget to realize that the creative love and support, the creative energy of God is in every cell of your body. And I don't know how many billions or trillions of cells that is, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So, what would you like life to look like? And the other part is, he calls that a clear intention. And the other part is elevated emotion. How would I feel? It'll always be up here, guys. It'll be, oh, if I knew that all my prayers were already answered, if I knew that I was completely loved and supported by every atom in the universe, it would probably make me feel peaceful. Would you be grateful? Yeah, I'm so grateful. So a few minutes a day, guys, of experiencing that is enough to counterbalance everything and start really changing how our life works. Now, if you've been around me at all, you know I love this. Oh, in fact, I got to get the book. It's becoming supernatural. I say you're naturally supernatural. It's just learning to tap into it. Now, different societies, different religions, etc., call it prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it. Everybody intuitively knows that they have access to a power that's greater than their physical ability. They have access to knowledge that's more than what they could ever learn in school. um, and so, uh, when we know what we would like our life to look like and spend some time feeling what that looks like, that's what I'll walk everybody through on Saturdays. Not only are you going to start to see rapid changes in your own life, but you're also going to raise the consciousness of humanity. And so, in Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural, he says the history of peace gathering projects. what is this? Is when we get together Saturdays, we're not only going to radically change our own lives, the lives around us, we're going to change humanity itself because we can. We have that ability. So it's pretty cool. So he's talking about the power of peace gatherings projects has been exhibited and thoroughly field tested in more than 50 demonstration projects and 23 peer-reviewed scientific studies scrutinized by independent scholars around the world. The results have consistently demonstrated a positive effect in the immediate reduction of crime, warfare, terrorism by an average of 30%. Think about that for a moment. When a group of people come together with a specific intention or a collective consciousness, clear intention, we are going to generate peace out of our own body, and that's enough. That's enough to radically change the world, guys, which is really cool. And so when we do that, it produces change 70% of the time. And here's what he says. Uh, he gives multiple examples here, but here's what's really fascinating. When there was a peace study done in the Middle East with Lebanon and the nation of Israel. It says when people got together in Jerusalem in August, September, they radiated an influence of peace, meaning they didn't, please God, please, please, please give peace, because that's typically operating down here in the lower scale. What did they do? They let go of any energy of doubt and they started just enjoying the peace they would have. What would I feel if all of my prayers were already answered? I'd be grateful. I'd be in bliss. I'd be in awe of life. I'd feel so powerful and loved by God. All those different things. It says when we'd spend a little bit of time doing that, there was 76% reduction of war deaths. Other effects included reduced crime, fires, decreased accidents, traffic accidents, decrease in terrorism, and increase in economic growth, meaning that things we didn't want all went down by 76%, and all the things you do want, economic growth, you want peace, went up by 76%. That's a lot. And then he says, in what's considered one of the top three peace gathering studies in the Western Hemisphere, the RAND Corporation think tank assembled a group of trained meditators. You don't have to be trained that well. I'll walk you through it. And if you go through and walk through it, like I said, just the power of love is so enormous that those few moments of getting together with other people is enough to change all the negative in your life. So it says they had trained meditators. They experienced peace and coherence, ranging from 8 to 11 days during a period from 1983 to 1985. The results showed that during that time, worldwide terrorism was reduced by 70%. That's a lot, guys. And we all have access to tap into this power. And I don't mean this uh, derogatory, but if you've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, it's not working, maybe we should try something different. And why do I say that? What I'm saying is I don't know how long people have been praying for peace in the Middle East. They don't realize they're the source of peace. When they experience peace, then things change. When they get out of begging and the fear and anxiety and generate peace, when they allow themselves to feel how good it feels that all of their prayers have already been answered, meaning they're experiencing in their imagination what it feels like and what it looks like if everything already was peaceful. That makes the 72% change. So, and lastly, I'll end with this. Still in another study, this time from India, from 1987 to 1990, 7,000 people gathered to focus on world peace. And this is very impactful for me because I was at the United States Air Force Academy. And and at the time when the Berlin Wall came down, we were in there was a base in Bentwaters, England. And I remember we were in the visiting officers' quarters. They put us up there, even though we were still cadets. And I remember we were getting ready to go, and the news was on in our quarters, and they were tearing down the Berlin Wall. And I remember one of my good friends at the time, Chase McCown. I was like, Chase, come here. Like this is historic. Like our whole lives, all we'd ever known was the the um the evil forces, and we were the good forces, the US and the evil empire of the Soviet Union, etc. And I'm not placing any judgment on whether it's right or wrong. I'm just placing the judgment on now I know the backstory of how cool this is. So during that 3 year period of people getting together and experiencing peace in their own hearts, not only did it change their lives, but guess what? It affected the consciousness of humanity and the world around them. During that 3 year period, the world witnessed remarkable transformation towards world peace. The Cold War ended, the Berlin Wall came down, the Iran-Iraq War came to an end, South Africa moved towards abolishing apartheid, and terrorist attacks subsided worldwide. This is pretty cool. What surprised everyone was the swiftness with which these global changes occurred, all in a relatively peaceful manner. Here's what's cool, guys. We're going to spend a few minutes for anybody who wants to participate. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern, zoom.vidme.io, and we'll walk you through it. And here's what's really cool. When you have the courage to love yourself and change yourself, you become the change that affects consciousness, its health. You actually raise the consciousness of humanity intentionally, and we have the ability to do it.